Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome to So Much to Talk About, and it's my pleasure to have this gentleman to my left and your right. He's definitely a future all-star in Major League Baseball, and he's definitely one of the rising stars from the Los Angeles Dodgers, first baseman, James Loney. It's a pleasure to have him on. Pleasure, James.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. And I know it's real busy here in New York with this 4-game series with the Mets. Talk about like Joe Torre. It's funny, like when Joe Torre was hired to be the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, what were your expectations?
I mean, I don't really expect a lot, out of, I guess, like a new guy actually coming over. But I also knew the history of him. So, I mean, obviously all the expectations from everybody else were huge. But, I mean, I just look at him as like the manager. He's trying to run our team and try to help us. And, I expect to win a World Series. And I think he expects the same thing. So that's basically it.
And with him being, of course, like a Hall of Fame manager and, of course, a great player, 1971 National League MVP, what have you learned from him, like as far as being a player and being a person?
Yeah, I've learned a lot, actually, from him in this little time. He just wants us to always be ready, try to limit the mistakes, especially the mental mistakes. He believes the physical mistakes may happen. And just going out there and working, just knowing you can have the confidence to be the best. So that's my wake-up call.
Growing up in Houston, you were part of the Reviving Baseball and Inner Cities program. And, talk about, was that the major factor that inspired you to pursue a career in the major leagues?
It was one of them. I mean, it was a great experience, playing with those guys. We got a chance to go to Orlando, Florida, to play at the Disney World Resort. So it was definitely something, you never can forget. And playing different teams, we played, a team from Puerto Rico, and just getting a chance to see that talent level. So it was definitely a great experience.
Wow. Yeah. And with RBI, what do you think of? Because I know you've been involved with a lot of the dinners and stuff like that. A lot of the events that have gone on with RBI. How is RBI going right now in being able to acquire more kids from the inner city in the United States?
Yeah, it's been going great. I'm actually starting to set up something where some of the kids should be able to come to a game, once every home series. So trying to get a lot of kids to come out there and just watch baseball.
Well, that's what it's all about, because it's America's pastime, that's for sure. And now your parents were both athletes; they were both basketball players. And talk about like how did they help you from the standpoint of your approach when it came to mental preparation and conditioning and things like that? How did they help you?
Yeah, I mean, they both were very supportive of what I wanted to do. They just go out there and whatever I felt like doing, they want to be out there with me. It was never like, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. It was just like, whatever you want to do, just work as hard as you can at it. So.
Did they give you any like tips, like as far as like getting your conditioning better and stuff like that? Any tips like that?
Yeah, it seemed like my dad was more of like working out, staying in shape, and my mom was like wanted to feed me right, make sure
okay.
I was eating and making sure I was taking care of myself. So it worked out both ways.
Wow, that's great. Nutritionist and a trainer right there. That's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, what made you choose like in high school? Because at Elkins High School, you put some crazy numbers. I mean, you batted .509 in your senior year. Then also too, you had a 9-1 record, 1.80 ERA, and 18 strikeouts per 9-inning ratio. That's pretty crazy. What made you choose to be a position player instead of a pitcher?
Well, I mean, they actually choose for me. They actually chose for me because they saw me hit in a few games, and I guess I hit well those games. And they just said, hey, we want you to try out hitting first. So, I couldn't say no.
You mean the high school or the Dodgers?
Yeah, the Dodgers said that.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dodgers wanted me to, pursue hitting. So.
Wow. And when they drafted you, you were the 19th pick overall in the 2002 amateur draft. I mean, that's amazing being a first-round pick in any sport, And but what were your thoughts knowing that you would eventually wear Dodger blue?
I mean, yeah, it was far-fetched at the beginning. I never really thought about playing in LA in the big city, this and that. I just thought about playing baseball. And then once I got out there in 2006, I mean, it was still baseball, but just on a bigger stage. And then getting a chance to play with some of the teammates that I played with throughout the minor leagues was something great. So.
And that's funny that you say it's just like baseball, regular plain baseball, like but the stage is different. That's interesting because I guess that explains. Because I was gonna ask you like your success in the minors. I mean, every level you've gone, you've been successful. So I guess that answered the question right there. You know, that's a good mental approach to have.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because I like to look at it like the difference between a major league guy and a minor league guy is usually just an opportunity. So
wow, that's a great point. Yeah. And you got your first hit against John Smoltz, future Hall of Famer. Your first at bat, actually. Now, talk about like that experience of especially hitting off Smoltz. He was like one of the great pitchers of our generation.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's a great pitcher. Thinking about him, he likes to throw around the strike zone. Which works out for me because he's been in the major leagues for a while. He knows what he wants to do, and I was just fortunate enough to get a single off of him. So.
Wow, how you doing with him in your career against him? Like,
I think that's the only time I've ever faced him that game, and I was
really okay.
1 for 2 against him. So.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Wow. It'll be interesting if Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz retire after this year. Won't that be something? Like they could be inducted together.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. I think I think they still might have some more years.
Oh, really? Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. I don't. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Because you know how it is with older athletes being in it longer than you need to be. But I'd love to see them retire together. That'd be great.
I mean, those type of guys, though, they want to win so bad. I think. They're definitely looking for another World Series, another World Series ring. So
right, and speaking of like San Diego and Maddox with San Diego, I mean, how surprising is it with San Diego and Colorado?
I think it's still early too. It's a tough division, that we play in. Great pitching, but I mean, they still have a great team. We played both teams already this year. And, on any given day, it seems like, any team can beat you. So you just got to be ready every day.
And especially down the stretch run because divisional foes, they know each other real well, of course.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Colorado last year, they weren't really even – they weren't like, expected to make the playoffs the last month or so, and they just went on the run and – got in there and went to the World Series. So.
Yeah, that was crazy. And it was funny. I said on my show, I said, what will happen if they lose that first game against Boston? What will happen? And then the momentum, and plus the week off kind of killed their momentum, I think, as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think, obviously they were happy to get there and they wanted to win. But Boston had the type of guys that have been there before, and it just seemed like, they were ready. So.